Hello, frugal chicken peeps. Sorry guys, I just wanted to fix this real quick. Anyways, looks like I probably have a big lump in my head. Okay. Anyways, the reason I wanted to pop on here real quick, and actually, I'm going to see if I can shift this a little bit. There we go, okay. What it is I'm in front of a window so that there's light on my face, but it was like bright over here. Anyways, the reason I wanted to pop on is because I saw a question in a Facebook group about good protein sources if your chickens are molting. And so I wanted to pop on real quick and offer some advice on that. So when your chickens molt, if you don't know what molting is, actually, let me backtrack real quick. If you don't know who I am, my name is Matt Van Eyder. I'm a backyard chicken expert, and I am the founder of the blog Frugal Chicken, which is thefrugalchicken.com. The URL is above. But anyways, back to talking about backyard chickens and molting. If you don't know what molting is, a hen or a rooster, actually all chickens, after about 18 months of age in the fall will start to lose their feathers. And what they'll do is they'll then regrow new feathers. And the process of losing those feathers and then regrowing them is called molting. And it's a totally normal process. It's just, them growing new feathers to take care of their bodies. And if they don't have, adequate plumage, it's harder for them to stay warm over winter. So it's a totally natural process. But during that time, your chickens are going to need a little bit extra support from you in terms of their diet. And what they're going to need is more protein. So somebody had asked in a Facebook group, what are good protein sources for chickens? And this person didn't have access to mealworms, which is an excellent source of protein for chickens. And they didn't, I guess somebody else had suggested feeding them raw chicken to their chickens for protein. And that person just didn't want to do that, which I can understand. There's several different sources of protein that you can rely on for your chickens. Now, number one, if you're feeding a balanced commercial grain or a balanced feed that you've made yourself, your chickens are getting good enough protein. As long as what you're feeding them has a minimum of 16% protein, that's adequate, for their diet. Now, when they're molting, you might want to bump that up a little bit. So the simplest way to give your chickens more protein when they're molting is simply to switch from a layer feed to a game bird feed. Game bird feeds have about 22 to 25% protein in them. So that's just a very simple, cut and dry. You go to the feed store, you get, game bird feed. And, they're going to get all the other nutrients that they need from it. It just has more protein in it. Now, if you don't want to do that, if maybe you can't find, the kind, maybe maybe your chickens are on an all organic diet, maybe, it's not GMO, you can't find a game bird feed, you do have other options. A really good option is, like I said, mealworms. You can buy them on Amazon. ManaPro has a really awesome mealworm that I love. And you can buy them, like I said, on Amazon. I think if you go to thefrugalchicken.com/mealworms, that'll take you to the brand that I buy on Amazon. But that is one option. If you don't want to go the mealworm route, or for whatever reason you just don't want to do it, something else that's really good is like wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is super high in protein. What you do is you go to a feed store, you ask for feed wheat. Don't ask for any other kind of wheat. You ask for feed wheat, and the reason why is because what you're going to get is the seed bear, the wheat berries, the seeds. If you ask for anything besides feed wheat, they might give you something that's got chemicals sprayed on it so it doesn't germinate, or chemicals, it could have anything on it. Feed wheat, however, is intended for livestock consumption, so it's pure, it doesn't have any chemicals or any sort of retardants on it. So that is something else. And so what you do then is you can create fodder. In my course, Feeding Our Hens Right, we cover how to make fodder. So I'm not going to explain it here because it's going to take forever. Thank you for the heart. But you can make fodder with it, which basically means that you just sprout the seeds and you let the grass grow. That's a really excellent source of protein. Some people are against this, but this is an option. We're homesteaders. We like to use up all of our resources if possible. If you do have extra meat scraps from dinner, you can feed those to your chickens. Thanks for the like. That is another option. Basically, anything that provides them with protein. If you have peanuts around, peanuts are something that they can have. Again, unsalted, unflavored, raw only. Okay, any sort of nut, unsalted, unflavored, raw only. If it's got salt on it, it can mess with their electrolyte balance. So that's basically kind of what it boils down to. Find a protein source for them, extra protein, and that's the best way to support them while they're molting. But all things being equal, if you really want an easy way to do it, if I had a way that I would recommend doing it, I would recommend going off and buying a game bird feed just because it's simpler. You know that they're going to get all the nutrients that they need. Or going with something like mealworms and just, I don't know, like a handful for each chicken out there. If you have a lot of chickens, that might not be the best option. Going for a game bird feed might be a better option. But those are some very, very easy ways that you can support your chickens while they are going through the molting process. Now, how long does molting last? As long as it needs to take. The rule of thumb with this is it can be anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 months. I've had chickens take 6 months. Those were sort of some special cases. So molting, it really depends on the individual chicken. We've never really had a really crazy case of molting. We have had ones that have taken a long time, but you see those pictures of the chickens where they're like, they look like they've been to hell and back. They got the feathers are all gone off them, and they look like they're a mess. We've actually never experienced that, so I've just gone with bumping them up to the game bird feed. But somebody asked a question. Okay, Becky asked, how about dried beans? Okay, here's the deal with beans. You need to make sure that you soak them for quite a while. The reason why is because beans have something on the outside that can actually poison them. So if you're going to feed beans, beans are a good option. I would actually cook them, and I would cook them for quite a while and just make sure that they're super soft. Because once you soak them and once you cook them, that poison that's in the skin goes away. So beans are actually a really excellent source, and thank you for mentioning that because I did not mention it, and I should have. As for what kind of beans, any kind of bean is fine. We usually stick to things like pinto beans around here, kidney beans. That's because we cook a lot of chili, so we always have them on hand. But yeah, with beans, definitely make sure that they've been soaked for at least 24 hours. I would recommend just cooking them, just to make them easier to digest. So yeah. All right, guys, if you don't have any other questions, then I'm going to head out. But yeah, that is my recommendations for how to support your hens while they're molting. If you do have any, sorry guys, somebody called me. Anyways, if you have any questions, go ahead and, somebody asked a question. Is this also true for quail? Yeah, with quail though, what I would do is I would just stick with the game bird feed. Quail, because they're so small, you can try the mealworms if you grind them up, but I found with my quail that they're so small that it's hard for them to get things like beans or you can give it to them and they can peck at it for a while. But another really good option actually there was kale. Kale has a lot of protein in it, and my quail like kale. Kale. Try saying that 5 times fast. Anyways. But yeah, that's the thing with quail. I would just stick with the game bird feed if that's what you're feeding them, because I think that that's what's easiest and what's best. I go for what's easiest around here. So we have so many chickens that it's hard to be super give everybody something special. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them below and I will answer them. And then go ahead and visit my blog above. I hope you've enjoyed this and that it's giving you some idea about protein sources for your chickens this winter when they're molting. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.